Greetings. I'm Dr. Hall, author of the Metaphysical Love Stories. If you like romance with a deeper twist, you'll like these. Today, I'm reading from book one, entitled Good Regardless, a Metaphysical Love Story, and from chapter six, entitled Intuition. If you like romance with a deeper twist, stick around. You'll like these. I'm reading raw and uncut. Nursing school was demanding and competitive. Because my goal was to focus on my studies, get good grades, and become the best nurse possible, I didn't join the college track team. When I ran track in middle school and high school, all the people I interacted with regularly were other students on the track team. Without those connections and with all the time I spent studying, I didn't have many friends in college. Instead of running on a school team, I ran alone nearly every day to keep up my sanity and fitness. I was friendly with the other nursing students, but my only close friendship was with my dorm mate, Izzy, who was a physical therapy student. She was 3 years older than me, and we were virtually inseparable. My father offered to pay for the extra time it would take to go to graduate school after earning a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. He told me I should at least get a master's degree and become a nurse practitioner if I wasn't going to become a doctor. He said this to me when my mother wasn't around, of course. I told him I'd consider it. I loved my nursing classes and prerequisites. I was particularly fascinated by my medical anthropology course. At one point, I even considered switching my major to become a medical anthropologist. In the end, I realized it would take me out of bedside care and away from the kids I wanted to work with, so I stayed on track to become a nurse. I earned an A in that class, and my professor asked me to be his teacher's assistant the following semester. Aisha, I truly enjoyed having you in my class, he said in his thick Tigrinian accent. I'd like you to be my teacher's assistant next semester. Thank you for asking, Dr. Solomon, but I'm in the nursing program and I'm not on campus every day. We train in the hospitals most of the time now, so I won't be able to make it to your classes and be your TA. You won't need to attend my classes. Just help me correct papers, read assignments, and provide input. Dr. Solomon was Ethiopian with sharp features and smooth hair cut close to his scalp, brownish red skin and slender but not athletic. He wasn't particularly handsome, but I found myself attracted to his intellect and confidence. He wore horn rimmed glasses and usually dressed in dark, loose fitting suits with a white shirt and skinny tie. He reminded me of the framed images of Malcolm X my parents had on our living room wall. He seemed to know everything about every culture and a lot about medicine. Behind his back, some of the students said he was arrogant and called him a narcissist. Ayanla wasn't particularly fond of him and agreed with the students we overheard. I didn't see Sagai like that back then. I was flattered by the long looks he gave me in class after I said something he liked. I like his confidence, I told Ayanla. It's cockiness, not confidence, she said. Sagai didn't Americanize his name and confidently pronounced it Sagai, which made me admire him even more. He told me I could work my teacher's assistant's duties around my nursing program schedule and do as much as I could on campus with him. He said he'd give me an A, which would boost my grade point average. It didn't take long before Sagai made it clear he wanted to have a relationship with me beyond my assistance with his classes. At that time, I didn't have much of a social life because Izzy had graduated from Sac State and moved on to complete her doctorate in physical therapy at Azusa Pacific in Southern California. I remember we fought over her decision to leave. I was upset that she chose to go so far away rather than to continue her education in Sacramento. She was upset because I didn't support her decision to live somewhere besides Sacramento where she had lived her entire life. We can both move after I graduate, or I can transfer there now, too, I pleaded. I'd felt abandoned and lonely. She said I was selfish and immature. I vowed not to get close to anyone else who would leave me. You will see her again, Ayanla had promised. Ayanla was good company, but I wanted a physical connection with someone, preferably a man. I was flattered that Sagai wanted to spend time with me. I was 21 and he was 31 when our relationship began. He told me to call him Sagai when we were alone, but to continue to call him Dr. Solomon when others were around. I liked him, but spent far too much time trying to meet his approval. Why don't you become a doctor? He asked once. I hated that question. It took me back to when my father had asked it. I felt the familiar twinge of inadequacy, of not being good enough and not trying hard enough. I stood my ground, just as I had with my father years before. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. You're smart enough to be a doctor. Nurses don't become nurses because they're not smart enough to be doctors, I said with a sigh of exasperation. I'm just saying, don't sell yourself short. You should be a doctor. I could get a doctorate in nursing and be an administrator or teach at a university or something later. But right now, I really just want to take care of children in a hospital. You can do more than that. You're a teacher with a doctorate in medical anthropology. Why didn't you become a medical doctor? We're not talking about me, he said abruptly. A knot formed in the pit of my belly. Ayanla spoke. Aisha, walk away from him. This relationship is not going to serve you well. I didn't listen. I continued to correct tests and papers, schedule his office appointments with students, and do pretty much everything else he asked me to do. It was a lot of work. This is like a job, I told him one evening after spending hours correcting papers. You get paid with an A. This is a class. You are my assistant. It helps your GPA. I've never spent so many hours in a class. Besides, my GPA is a 3.7. I'm good regardless. By receiving an A as my TA each semester while you're here, you can bump up your GPA to a 4.0. That's better than a 3.7. Of course, you don't have to do it. There are plenty of young ladies who jump at this opportunity. It sounded more like a threat than a compliment. As far as I was concerned, he might as well have told me that I was replaceable and that any other female student would do. So I stayed. So the guy told me not to tell anyone about our relationship. It's our business, he said. No one needs to know. Besides, I could get fired if the university knew we had an intimate relationship. Over the next several years, we had frequent dates, always out of town. We'd have fun together, and the sex was amazing, but something was missing. He continually strived for excellence and perfection, which some might see as a good thing, but I found it exhausting. He acted as if he was constantly on display. Although his lovemaking was excellent, something was missing from that too. It was like a performance, complete with strategically placed smiles and moans in intervals. Looking back, I suppose the missing component was authentic romantic love on both sides. I think we loved, liked, and even needed each other, but not the way I imagined a loving romantic couple. It's desperate, Ayanla said. At the time, I ignored her. I think she was right. You remember Sagai drove a shiny black convertible Mercedes. I wanted to ride with the top down, but he said we had to keep it closed so no one would recognize us if they go past. I found that particularly annoying. What's the point of having a convertible if you can never put the top down? Besides, we always go out of town. Who's going to recognize us? You're a student, and I am faculty. I can't be seen with you in public. I could lose my job. How many times do I have to tell you that? He made it clear that it would be disgraceful for him to be caught dating a student. I stayed in the relationship for 5 years because of the good times, excusing and ignoring the bad. In the beginning, I liked and respected Sagai, despite not loving him romantically. I loved him as a friend and mentor. I liked our conversations, liked learning from him, and liked being connected with someone physically. He had a timeshare vacation membership, and we had the most fun when we'd take off for the weekend and stay at resorts near the water. We frequented resorts with beaches in San Diego, Monterey Bay, Clear Lake, and Bodega Bay. He also bought tickets and we attended Broadway shows in Oakland and San Francisco. My favorites were The Color Purple, The Lion King, Aida, and Beauty and the Beast. Our conversations were riveting in the beginning. Sagai was smart and challenged me in new ways, though he did not like it so much when I challenged him. He was cultured, refined, attractive, and a perfect gentleman in public. He wasn't as nice, tactful, or attentive when no one else was watching or listening. He corrected me often and frequently encouraged me to do better and be more. I tried to live up to his expectations, but grew less satisfied and less impressed with him as time passed. I knew Ayanna didn't want me to date Sagai. She said he was emotionally abusive. I explained away his behavior, saying he was a perfectionist, had a type A personality, and was a number one on the Enneagram personality spectrum. It's just who he is, I said. People only do what we let them. I assure you that I'm getting something out of this too. I'm not a victim. A few months after I'd begun dating Sagai, another young man, a nursing student, had invited me to dinner. Because Sagai made it clear that we could not be in a committed relationship due to his job, I thought it would be fine to go. We went to a local lakeside restaurant that had outdoor tables and seating. We danced to the live music of a reggae band, ate Jamaican patties, golden flaky pastries filled with spicy beef, and drank Guinness Stout, an extraordinarily strong beer. We had a wonderful time. I remember feeling like he was someone I would enjoy being in a relationship with. I didn't check my phone until the next day and saw that Sagai had texted and called me several times. I hadn't paid any attention to it because I was having such a good time and didn't hear it ring or vibrate over the loud music. What were you doing? Where were you? I went out to dinner with another student. We went out for dinner and dancing. Was this student a male? Yes. Why did you do that? Do I not take you to enough nice places? Were you so enthralled with this young man that you could not check your phone? I was dumbfounded by his tone. Sagai, you said you and I could not have a committed relationship because you are a professor and I am a student. I thought it would be okay if I made friends with other people. He's a nursing student, my peer. What's wrong with that? If you do not understand what is wrong with that, you are not as smart as I thought you. My stomach twisted in knots. I'm sorry, Sagai, but you're sending me mixed messages. If we are not in a committed relationship, then I should be able to go out with other people. If you need me to say we're in a committed relationship so that you will not date other men, then I will say we are in a committed relationship. You date only me. It was an oddly flattering, if disconcerting proposal, but at the time I was willing to accept it. When I finished my Bachelor of Science degree in nursing, I invited Sagai to my graduation. Will you come to my graduation and go out to dinner with my family and me afterwards? No, I don't want other faculty members to see me there with you. I'm not a student now. I already graduated. This is just a ceremony. No, I better not go. I'll see you later. Congratulations. He presented me with a diamond earrings, a $500 gift card, and a dozen gorgeous rainbow roses. While I appreciated Sagai's generosity, I would have preferred his presence at my graduation. I told myself that his love language was acts of service based on Gary Chapman's book, The Five Love Languages. So guy loved giving me things, taking me places, and giving me physical pleasure. He seemed genuinely happy when he was doing those things. I shared my thoughts about this with Ayanla. But you see, Aisha, it's still all about what gives him pleasure. He's doing those things because it makes him feel good about himself. If he cared about what made you feel good, he would attend your graduation and go to dinner with all of us. That's what you asked for, not for more stuff. After graduation, I thought we would be able to date openly. No, let's keep things as they have been. I don't want anyone around here knowing my business. Sagai, I don't want to be in a relationship I have to keep secret. Please, Aisha, don't talk that way. I have something wonderful planned for us. Don't spoil it. Let me show you how special we are. No one else needs to know how special our relationship is. What we have is for us, not them. Against my better judgment, I didn't end the relationship, and he rewarded me with a 4-day, 3-night trip to New Orleans. We stayed in a luxury hotel with high golden gilt ceilings, crystal chandeliers, and a glass spiral staircase. We partied up and down Bourbon Street, dancing, laughing, carrying drinks from one club to another. So guy doted on me openly, adoringly, showering me with affection and making the sweetest of love to me. I was in an absolute state of ecstasy. That time and every time over the 5 years we dated, when I spoke of wanting to leave the relationship, Sagai's response was the same. He'd sweep me off my feet, convince me that our relationship was even more special because of its discretion, and make the sweetest love to me for days on end. He'd make me feel like I was the luckiest woman in the world for a while. Although we continued to spend most of our time together out of town, our relationship wasn't entirely secret. I told my family and friends about him because they kept trying to set me up with other men. I told them that I was already in a relationship, but they were suspicious because Sagai would never attend events where he could meet them. I couldn't satisfy their curiosity because I was suspicious of his reasons myself. Tell them to mind their own business, Sagai would say when I told him my family and friends didn't understand why they never met him. Kind of commitment is that when he won't go anywhere around your family and friends, Aisha? Ayana pressed me. What's he hiding? And don't you think it's strange that he only wanted to call what you have a commitment when another man paid attention? You deserve better. You should write Joseph on Facebook and ask him out. At least find out if he's available. Joseph? What in the world made you think of him? I was genuinely surprised when Ayana brought him. I hadn't seen Joseph since high school. Because you're always thinking of him. Don't forget that I hear your thoughts. Remember, you and I are one. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this reading and if you'd like to get your own copy and continue the journey, just click the link in my description to order your own. Have a great day and enjoy your life.